Okay, today I'm going to tell you the story about how I got monetized in the competitive tech niche, AI niche, in 30 days and let you know what that story looks like. I've not been here for a few months because part of this story is how I got monetized in 30 days and then quit and why I quit, and I'll explain all of that. But this is part of a series where I'm going to tell you this story, then I'm going to let you know the exact steps that you could take to do this now. Remember, I'm not like a YouTuber. I've been doing this for 30 days, but after 30 days, I had 3,000 subscribers, roughly 1,000 people on my email list that had downloaded the tools I make, and my channel was monetized. And I approached this in a pretty different way than what you've probably heard from other uh, YouTube, how to do YouTube type folks. I'm not a YouTube type folks. I build software, but I'm treating this a little bit differently. So I'll just get into it and tell you the story. So this all started like a while back when I started a YouTube channel, and what I wanted to do was share kind of my thoughts on software development and share some of the tools I was building. And I actually made around 11 videos before, and I wasn't looking at YouTube like a game or anything like that. I was just saying, oh, here's what I'm building. Let's see if anybody else finds it interesting. Long story short, they didn't. I spent all this time kind of just doing screen recordings of the software that was, explaining how to build tools with agents, way back before, a lot of the newest Claude and codecs would even come out. And no one watched it at all. I think I got like 30 views over 11 videos. And it was kind of just to me, felt like a waste of time. I wasn't taking it seriously. I just published them and that was it. I just walked away from it, and it kind of stuck in my head as a failure, and it bothered me because there's some part of me that is a competitive person, and I just kept on thinking of it over and over. And I was saying to myself, I really want to, see what people think of this software. I wanted to get feedback mostly on what I was doing from other people, but just no one was watching. So I was kind of wasting my time, and I don't want you to waste your time. So here's what I did. I decided to start a YouTube channel again, but I was going to approach it a little bit differently this time. I was going to approach my YouTube video, my YouTube channel, is kind of the way I do when I'm building a product, because my entire background is in product management and software development. And I wasn't applying any of those skills to YouTube because I didn't think of it. There's so much stuff you have to do and learn when you start a YouTube channel that you just don't think of. Like, do you write scripts? You have to get a camera. You have to learn about editing. And the worst part is whenever you start is you really suck bad. I mean, you might be watching this right now and saying you suck bad right now, and that might be true, but I'm way better than I was, you know, 30 days before I started. Sitting in front of a camera like this and speaking is totally not natural, especially if you're a little introverted. And you don't realize this stuff when you say, hey, I'm going to go start a YouTube channel. But nevertheless, I decided I would start a YouTube channel, but I was going to try to win YouTube this time. And the win condition for me was getting monetized no matter how long it took. I just said, well, that's a very clear goal, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to do that. So, as a software person, the first thing I did before I started was I was going to build a piece of software to help me with this. So, I built this tool called One Man Media Empire. I think you might still be able to download it, but I'm taking that offline because one of the things I'm going to be building on this channel is a new tool that's better than the old one. But this One Man Media Empire software was a piece of software I could use that monitored different signals from the environment. It monitored what other tech YouTubers were doing. It was monitoring websites, different X feeds. It was just monitoring stuff from all over the internet where I could kind of get a pulse of what, not just what was trending now, but what was about to emerge as a trend in the future. And I would check this software every morning and look at it. And I just started kind of getting an understanding of what was popular or what would become popular in the near future. And that was going to be my signal that I used to start building out my YouTube channel. So let me look at my notes here. I've definitely failed on the first attempt, but my strategy was to get this signal and then try to get comfortable in front of the camera. And I knew that I was going to suck, and that was okay. I knew that people were going to make mean comments in the comment section, and that's okay. But what I was really wanting to get was feedback on stuff, and I was wanting to get at least enough eyeballs on my channel to where I could actually start sharing this stuff that I wanted to share. And this is a real kind of catch 22 because I knew the strategy that I was kind of about to embark on would have me pigeonholed a little bit into kind of the tech AI niche, which was already super crowded, but I knew I had a different take on things. And that just part of that compromise was is I wasn't going to be able to just totally make videos about the things I wanted to make videos about. And that's one of the biggest lessons that you'll learn when you're doing this is nobody really cares about what you want. Everyone cares about themselves, myself included. And you need to keep that top of mind when you're creating videos because your initial thing that you're going to want to do is to just make videos about all the stuff you care about. I wish it was that easy and I want to get there one day, but that's not what I was doing then, and that's not what I'm doing now. So I started monitoring my One Man Media Empire app, and every morning I would come in and I would make a video. That first video I thought was going to take me, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes, and it had taken me the better part of a day, really 2 days to make that first video. And the thing was is I would sit down, I had everything scripted out that I wanted to say, and I learned that there was just all these obstacles. I would sit down to say something, I would stumble, and then I would start over, and then going back to edit when you don't know about anything about editing is a nightmare when that's happening. So it took me forever to produce this first video, and I'd already made this promise to myself that I was going to make one video per day. My entire strategy was get in front of the camera enough to where you start feeling a little bit more comfortable and can, speak a sentence without tripping over every word you say. It was essentially get as many swings at as many at bats as possible and just slowly but surely get better over time while learning more and more about trends and what will be popular and how to frame that stuff. Not to mention the creating thumbnails and the title and the recording and the editing and the setup and the lights. There's just all this stuff you don't anticipate that you have to learn real quickly. And I think one of the best ways to do that is to just start making videos. But we will get into the exact steps I would go through if you want to copy what I did tomorrow. But I started making videos, and the first one got barely any views. The second one got barely any views. The third one, same story. But slowly but surely, they started ticking up from like 20 views. I can remember sitting there in those first videos watching the analytics like a hawk, which is a terrible idea. But, I would say, oh my God, 20 people watched it and get so excited. The next day I'd come back and maybe I'd get 30 people that watched it. And slowly but surely I was getting up to where I was getting 90 people, 100 people watching my videos every day. And it felt better, even though those numbers are really small when you're comparing them to everyone else. I was pretty good about not doing that. I just saw the growth slowly but surely going up. And I got to the point where I was getting, between 300 and 500 per video, give or take. And then I got a few that were getting 1,000, 2,000 views. And the coolest part of this was I started getting what I wanted out of this, even though I wasn't covering the topics that I wanted yet. People were responding to me in the comments, and I could go in there and talk to them, and they had great ideas about things. And this is what I really wanted. This is one of the biggest reasons I started YouTube, was to get into these chat conversations. But slowly but surely, I started getting better and better at, not necessarily, well, I guess I got better at making the videos, including the editing and getting a little bit more comfortable on screen. I stopped doing scripts and I started making show notes. I started learning a little bit more about what would make people drop off of a video and what wouldn't. And I just kept on making videos. And about 30 days into the process or whatnot, I saw in my One Man Media Empire app that Clawbot was starting to, pick up in popularity. So this was before the big Clawbot craze started, but I was already starting to get signals about this, and Clawbot was something that I was already familiar with and looking into deeply. So I decided the next video I was going to make was going to be about Clawbot. And this is where everything kind of turned. Because remember, my strategy is make as many videos as you can. Yes, they're going to suck, but if you make enough of them, you'll get better. And maybe one of them will pop off. That's foreshadowing. So I looked at what some other people were doing in my One Man Media Empire app, and it was a lot of Clawbot hype videos that were just, like it is with every video that comes out around AI. It was someone on screen saying how this is going to change your life. The old way of doing things is completely dead. Software development's dead. Jobs are going to be taken from everybody because we have this thing called Clawbot now. And you need to stop what you're doing and immediately go get Clawbot. I love Clawbot and I love technology, but I, looked at this stuff and I could tell what Clawbot was. It was like a cron job at that point in time, paired with a cron job is just a timer, paired with like a memory system, paired with an agent, which was brilliant, but it was not at the point to where you could just set it and forget it. And you had to be somewhat technical to install and be able to use Clawbot. If you remember this time, this is when everybody was about to start going out and buy Mac minis for their Clawbot and stuff. So I scripted out my video show notes, not the actual script. And my whole angle on this video is just, here's what Clawbot actually is. Here's how it works. Here's what I think of it. Here's how I'm using it. And I try to do it in the least hyped way possible. So I think the title of my video, you can go back and look in my video list, was something like Clawbot explained in 5 minutes, no hype. And by this point in time, I'd stopped watching my metrics like a hawk. And that morning, I remember I recorded the video. It was literally like 5 minutes long. It was just me sitting here in this chair like I always am. And I recorded it and published it. And I think I went out for a walk or something. But when I came back, instead of, I was coming back, I checked my analytics. I was expecting, maybe 100 people or so to have watched at that point in time. But it was nothing like that. Like, I think it was like thousands of people. It was up the first time I checked, just an hour or two later. And I was like, what in the hell's going on here? I literally thought something was wrong with the analytics, but it wasn't. The video just shot up. People were commenting on it. The biggest comments I got from it were, thanks so much for making this video, just explaining it clearly without any hype. People were railing on all the hype beasts out there, and I was super excited, and I just tried to get into the comments section and apply to as many comments as I could. And the comments were coming fast and faster than I could reasonably apply to them. I don't even know how many comments I have on that video now, but it blew up and subscribers were just subscribing and subscribing and subscribing. And I think at this point in time, I was at like, I don't know, 400 or 500 subscribers. But in the next few days, I had over 1,000 and over 2,000. The video just totally exploded, and my strategy worked as planned. It was one of those things where I made the software to detect these signals before they happened. I took a bunch of bats, and about 30 days in, everything blew up. And a few days later, my video was monetized. I got my channel was monetized. I got the email from YouTube. I've still not fully monetized my channel and confirmed everything, but that's how good it felt. But then things kind of turned. When that happened, I felt a ton of pressure to keep on making these type of videos, even though I knew I didn't want to. I didn't want to keep on making the AI videos about every tool that came out, because I don't think that's what's going to help people win in the future of this AI revolution. It's not going to be the AI tools themselves. It's going to be how you approach problem solving and problem identification and execution and managing different agents. That's what I think is going to be important. But the things that we're doing well are every time a new, Claude feature would come out, I would cover that Claude feature and it would get tons of views. If I tried to cover anything else beside that, I just wouldn't get any views. So I'd pigeonholed myself, and there's a term for this called audience capture. And that's when I decided to quit. I had run this experiment, which if you keep on watching this channel, I'm doing live streams like I'm doing right now. And I'm showing you the different experiments that I'm running, YouTube being just one of them. But I was in what they call audience capture, where my whole job, if I wanted to keep on making these videos and not upset the audience I developed, would be keep on making, here's the next, Claude feature, the next Codex feature. And while I'm still into that stuff, I'm a total tech head and I'll make videos like that. That's not what this channel is going to be about. So I decided to just quit. And it wasn't really that hard of a decision. It was no skin off my teeth. I'd started getting a bunch of sponsorship inquiries, but I didn't answer any of those because I knew I didn't want to take on a sponsor, knowing that I wasn't going to do those exact types of videos anymore. But that is kind of the story of how everything happened. And there's a specific set of things that I did to get these video ideas and record these videos. And that's what I think I'm going to talk to you about tomorrow. I'm going to do another live stream every morning for 30 days. That's my next experiment on here. So if you want to see what I'm up to, not just with YouTube, but with my other experiments, feel free to go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to be live streaming around 8 or 9 in the morning, and then I'll produce 1 or 2 videos from those live streams. But that is how I won YouTube, according to my definition of winning YouTube, in 30 days. Tomorrow, I'll tell you exactly how I did it and give you a worksheet or a prompt or something that will walk you through exactly how to do this. And that's about it. I've got a new website up called ericb4.com. That's ERIC, the letter B, and then 4. I'm going to be posting everything over there. I've made kind of my own social media feed because I'm not really on X or any other social media right now. But if you're interested in how to do this, and then on Wednesday, I'm going to talk a little bit more about kind of what this channel is going to be and the experiments I'm running and how you can do some of these experiments too. But yeah, that's about it. I hope to see you tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see if anybody shows up for these live streams. I think today's is unlisted, but tomorrow or Wednesday, I'm actually going to go live, and hopefully I'll be able to start chatting to you all live in the chat if I can figure out how all of this stuff works with OBS and Meld. I'm kind of in between tools right now. But anyway, if you're one of the people that subscribed and or one of the people that helped me get monetized in 30 days, thank you so much. I promise you'll like the direction, or at least some of you will like the direction of the new channel's direction now, much more than before, because maybe you're kind of burnt out on all the AI hype stuff and you're starting to realize that just learning the newest, greatest tool isn't really the way to go, because everyone else in the world's learning the newest, greatest tool. And there's a new way to kind of navigate this economic technology scene that we're walking into. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.